If you're a high-achieving woman who's exhausted by stress, stuck in constant conflict, and tired of being overlooked in the exact rooms where you know you were born to lead, then this podcast is for you. So here's your host, Pallavi Jain.
Hi, Pallavi. And like many of you, I have won the titles of a leader, mom, overthinker, and occasional midnight email addict. After 20 years in HR leadership, working with Harvard, multinational companies, nonprofit sector, I realized the real leadership work isn't out there. It's in here. And that's why I started her Boss Brain podcast to help women leaders move from stress to success by activating their boss brain, their inner technology. I welcome you all in this space for high achieving women to come together and to be on self start. In all my leadership workshops that I do for organizations, businesses, there's this one common problem they all are grappling with, and that is constant stress. Some are stressed that they have way too much work. Some are stressed they don't have enough work, so they might get fired. Some are stressed about the upcoming performance review, while some are stressed what is Trump going to do next? Stress about what will happen in the next meeting. Stress about a recent conflict you had with your best friend. Stress about how are you going to meet the deadline at work? And then there are these daily mindless stress, which just doesn't stop. Like the Wi Fi is down for 5 minutes. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? No, my life is at standstill. You're at a grocery store. You pick the short line, and of course, the person in front of you pulls out a checkbook. Are you serious? That feeling, it is real. Oh, and then the reply all stress. Mm-hmm. You meant to send a snarky comment to your work buddy, but oops. Instead, the entire company knows your true feeling about the new logo. And then you spill your morning coffee on your shirt, and suddenly the whole day feels like a bad omen from the universe. You get the point. Now, the World Health Organization recently shared that stress has become one of the leading global health epidemics, costing the world $1 trillion in lost productivity alone every year, impacting engagement, team harmony, but more importantly, costing you and your employees their well being. But here's something few people talk about. What if your body isn't just stressed? What if it's addicted to stress? Have you ever woken up, checked your inbox at 7 a.m., and you seen an email from someone sent at 2:14 a.m. to you, and your first thought was, wow, they are so dedicated. But if we're honest, that's not dedication. That's stress addiction. That's someone who only feels valuable when they're exhausted. And the saddest part, now everyone else start copying that behavior until burnout becomes the company culture. Hence, it is even more important for leaders to be careful of their actions as leaders bring weather to a company. And we certainly are done with the weather of overexhaustion and mental health crisis. I mean, ask yourself, are you actually living or are you just surviving on fumes? Think about it. Every time your phone rings, your heart rate spikes. Every deadline, every tough meeting, every tough conversation, your system floods with cortisol and adrenaline. Over time, your nervous system stops asking, is this good for me? And instead, it starts asking, where's my next hit? Where is it? One of the biggest obstacles that creates stress is when we blame others or we feel sorry for ourselves like a victim. Remember, blame takes you away from control. And then it is easy to give yourself excuses that you're not doing this because of this person or this situation. My mom sometimes do this. She's going to kill me for this, but hey, to my defense, it is not just her. It's me. It's so many more like her I know who are stuck in this loop and they genuinely believe that is the right thing to do. You know why? Because of your brain wiring, which is working so hard to protect you, or at least it thinks it's protecting you. This is your brain's way of keeping you stuck in the known territory, the safe territory, which is, of course, the past, the familiar. And over time, it actually conditions your body and your cells, who become now used to these constant stress hormones flooding your system, that now your body starts craving them like a drug to continue to feel sorry, sad, helpless, angry. Have you ever listened to sad songs when you're already sad? Well, logically, that makes no sense. But that is your body craving more of those stress, sad hormones, and you are on autopilot. And then something even scarier happens. When stress feels permanent, when you believe nothing you do will change it, your brain learns helplessness. It quietly whispers, why bother? This is just the way things are. And this, my friends, is called learned helplessness. You know what I'm talking about, isn't it? There was an experiment conducted with two groups, okay? Now, both groups, what they needed to do was they needed to unscramble three words that were given to them, right? Just unscramble these words. Now, the first group was given three easy words to unscramble. And the second group's first two words were difficult. And then the same easy third word as group one. So they had the same easy third word, both groups, but the group two had the first two words that were difficult, right? You know what the result was? That most of the people in this group two, with first two difficult word, they couldn't unscramble the easier third word because their brain went into the zone of learned helplessness. It accepted defeat before it even happened. Funny thing is when I'm traveling with my husband at the airport, we're at the airport or we're driving somewhere, I have no idea where we're going, how we're going to get there, where are my papers, nothing. I'm just clueless. It's like, deep down, I think there is a belief that, oh, he can handle this better. I cannot do this. But the real fact is, because he takes care of everything, which I'm super grateful for, my brain goes in the lazy mode. Whereas when I'm by myself, I can do all of that perfectly, right? Does that happen to you? In all seriousness, this can become dangerous for your organizations. Think about it. Every week, you sit in a 2-hour meeting that hasn't produced one useful decision in 6 months. You tried once to suggest cutting it shorter, but no one listened. So now you just log in, you mute yourself, and secretly do your real work, on the side. That's learned helplessness when we stop believing change is possible. So we just adapt to dysfunction. How many ideas in your workplace have died not because they weren't good, but because people stopped believing anyone would listen? This is how helplessness steals innovation. It's pretty sad. Imagine using software, that crashes at 3 p.m. every single day. IT never fixes it. So the team just builds crash time into their schedule. Think about that. People literally plan to fail instead of demanding change. That's learned helplessness in its purest form. Now, coming back to stress, that started this whole cycle. In the US alone, job stress costs include more than $300 billion annually due to absenteeism, lower productivity, and healthcare expenses. But now I'm here to give you the good news. Stress addiction isn't a life sentence, and helplessness is learned, which means it can be unlearned. Today, I want to show you how to retrain your brain and your body to crave calm instead of chaos, to choose action instead of defeat, to have harmony, to be on self start. It is critical that we activate our boss brain to come out of this stress addiction and learn to take control of things that matter to us. So, here are 3 practical, research backed interventions you could weave in to come out of stress addiction. Okay. Now, I just want to note that every episode I give you 3 to 4 tips. Now, I don't want you to stress about that I have to do all of them. Pick what works for you. I'm just giving you different options because everybody have their own style, their own work, and how they operate. So pick what works for you. Okay. Let's come to the first one. Let us redefine urgent. Everything seems urgent these days because stress addicts like you and me, we thrive on fake emergencies. So try this. Before reacting and thinking that this is so urgent, I have to take care of this right now, ask yourself, will this still matter a week from now? 8 times out of 10, the fire isn't really a fire. So stop and evaluate in your mind what is really urgent and then prioritize. Second tip, novelty breaks. Stress keeps the body in a predictable cortisol loop. Cortisol is your stress hormone. So when you introduce small doses of novelty, what do I mean by that? Like new things, like new route to work, new music, a 5-minute movement challenge, 15 minutes of an activity that you haven't done for ages and you love doing it. It resets dopamine pathways, which is your reward hormone, which thus interrupts the craving for stress. So your CTA this week, call to action is, this week, deliberately add one tiny new experience a day. You're not just having fun, which will be obvious, but you would also be rewiring your brain to crave possibility, not panic. Now, when you do this second tip of adding a tiny new experience and sticking to it, it will also help you with building personal agency, which is the antidote for learned helplessness. Because helplessness thrives on failure, and confidence grows from small wins. Martin Seligman's studies show that giving yourself small, controllable wins rebuilds the brain's sense of agency, which is missing in so many teams and organizations these days. So make sure to start small. We all do this mistake. I've said that multiple times in, my previous episodes. Anything that you start doing, start small. But the key is to keep going and stay consistent in completing that small task. You will be surprised how these small conscious actions creates a domino effect and builds your confidence to do more and more and more. So that's your second tip, okay? Build something new into your routine, keep it small, but keep it consistent. And now the third and the final tip, watch your busy language. How often we say these days, I'm so busy. Everything's fine, I'm just busy. Or it's crazy right now. Your words have power. And also, this language reinforces stress as identity for your brain. So replace it with, I'm focused on so and so, or I'm prioritizing. When you choose words and framing like that, it shifts you from chaos to control. Stress is like coffee or tea in my regard. I love tea, not coffee, but a little coffee can wake you up. It's actually sometimes necessary, but living on it non-stop will burn you out. It has been proven that a lot of our illnesses are linked to this constant stress in our body, this constant SNS activation, ulcers, frequent cold and cough, other autoimmune diseases, diabetes, depression, anxiety. So, not only stress impacts your relationships, your productivity, but also your own physical and mental health. And these small practices help you enjoy the benefits of focus without overdosing on drama. One simple thing I will mention that probably a lot of us know, but it's a game changer. The circle of control exercise. And for people who don't know, basically draw two circles because a lot of our stress is actually coming from things that are not in our control. So let's put that to ease. So draw two circles, one with things you can control. So your response, your priorities, your own self talk. So important. And then the other circle with things you can't, your boss's moods, market shifts, the weather, your team's reaction. Now, when you catch yourself stuck and getting into that stress addiction, ask yourself, am I focusing on the outer circle, which is of things that are not in your control? And if yes, then redirect that energy to the inner circle and focus on things that you can do, moving from problems to solutions. And then, if you truly can't do anything about it, then as we have discussed in our previous episodes, it is time to let it go. Over time, this rewires the brain to seek solutions. And you feel you're in control of your life. Stress addiction is learned, helplessness is learned, but you know what else is learned? Leadership, confidence, clarity. And your boss brain already knows how. You just have to switch it on. If you apply the ATM framework we have learned in our fifth episode, which is, I'll just repeat that, it's a 3-step process to have control of your life and thus also break the stress addiction. That will help you tremendously, where the 3 steps were A, arrive in the present moment, which will help you break the autopilot and you're present in that moment. Then T, take responsibility and know what truly matters to you. So you stop assigning blame and you look at what you can do about it and what is it that truly matters to you. And then the third and the final step, M. Now make a conscious choice. And when you start applying these 3 easy 3-step process for little things in your life, you will see for yourself how you slowly feel more confident, in charge, and you move from stress addiction and helplessness to real success and confident again. If today's episode resonated with you and you lead a team, ERG, or work in HR, or lead an organization, I offer interactive workshops and leadership sessions to help employees and leaders like you to go from stress to sustainable success. It's called Lead from Within, and it's built on neuroscience, storytelling, and real life micro tools and practical frameworks like the ATM. You can learn more, or you can reach out to me to bring to your organization this workshop, and you can visit me at www.pallavi, my first name, Pallavi Jain, Jain.com, Pallavi-Jain.com, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to support you or your team's growth. So take care, everyone. Pick one of the tips from today. And again, don't get stressed to try everything. Pick what works for you. And then you share with me at herbossbrainpodcast.com. Any questions, anything else you want me to capture in this particular area, drop me a comment. It is time to put on our boss brain and move from stress to success. I'll see you later.
My voice a spell, power in me and I wear it well.
So that's it for today's episode of her Boss Brain podcast. Head on over to Apple Podcasts, iTunes, or wherever you listen and subscribe to the show. One lucky listener every single week that posts a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes will win a chance in a grand prize drawing to win a $25,000 private VIP day with Pallavi herself. Be sure to head on over to her bossbrainpodcast.com and pick up a free copy of Pallavi's gift and join us next time.
I don't stop.